It's going to add to the enjoyment of Boston Lager.
And joining us is Dean Obeidallah. He is a progressive commentator and comedian as well. Dean, we were just talking during the break, suffers from new school bigotry because he also happens to be Muslim. But as we see, we've also got old school bigotry still alive and well, unfortunately, in this country, as you heard in the last block. Laura Bassett also is joining us. She's a reporter for the Huffington Post. And actually, I want to discuss something that Ariana Huffington brought up on the Huffington Post, Obama versus Obama. The campaign Obama, who we all liked and was a wonderful progressive. Now, we didn't agree with everything he said on the campaign, but overall, we take it. In fact, that's how we voted. Governing Obama, a little different. Now, we put together a compilation here of the two different Obamas. Watch for yourself first.
We're going to lead by shutting down Guantanamo and restoring habeas corpus in this country.
One where we've fallen short is closing Guantanamo. I wanted to close it sooner. We have missed that deadline.
You understand that in this election, the greatest risk we can take is to try the same old politics with the same old players and expect a different result.
Larry Summers also brings a singular combination of skill, intellect, and experience to the role he will play in our administration.
I am running because of what Dr. King called the fierce urgency of now, because I believe there's such a thing as being too late.
I always believed that this was a long-term project. It was going to take more than a year. It was going to take more than 2 years. It was going to take more than one term. Probably takes more than one president.
The fierce urgency of now. All right, Dean, let me start with you here.
Sure.
Now, I know that you prefer the campaign Obama, but how do we get the campaign Obama to become the governing Obama?
I don't know if it's possible, frankly, Cenk. I mean, there's so much involved in our form of government that involves compromise, something the Tea Party people think is a dirty word. And it's hard. And I'm a progressive person. I have a lot of progressives who complain. They start sounding like Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka. It's like, I want it now, Daddy, and I want it all. It's going to take time. You know, unfortunately, for some people, he's a president. He's not a king. If he was a king, everything he promised us, we could hold him to it. But unfortunately, he cannot make every decision on his own. It's give and take with another part of with Congress, frankly, and it's deal with the Republicans in the House. So, you know, I'd love that guy who ran on the campaign. I don't think he's a different guy. I think it's a different reality.
Yeah, not buying it. Okay, I hear you.
I don't know. I think that there's not much you can do.
No. Here's the thing. No, look, listen. If it was just, well, what could I do? I couldn't close Guantanamo because the Republicans blocked it. Then I would say, hey, that's perfectly fair. If you said, hey, during the campaign, he said, I'm going to double down on Afghanistan, I'd say that's fair. I don't like that idea, but that is what he said during the campaign, right? But there are so many times, Laura, when, you know, Elizabeth Warren nominating her, he says, oh, no, I can't do it. The Republicans are blocking it. But then he does a recess appointment anyway. He says, oh, I can't get the public option because we can't get past the filibuster. Then they got past the filibuster anyway. They only needed 50 votes. They didn't do the public option anyway. So many times he makes a choice. Larry Summers during that clip. Oh, I don't want the same old guys. Here's frickin' Larry Summers, who started the recession in the first place in a lot of ways. So, I mean, I don't know. Laura, let me get your thoughts on it.
You know, obviously everyone wishes that he could have done all the things that he said he was going to do while he was campaigning. He was an idealist, and I think he was really naive, and he didn't understand the kind of Congress he was going to be up against. Not to say that this is all the fault of Congress. Of course, he is working with an obstructionist Congress, which does make things difficult. But there are decisions he's made as president that he could have. I mean, Larry Summers. Congress didn't have a knife to his throat telling him that he had to appoint Larry Summers to that position. There are definitely ways that he could have compromised less and been a stronger president. I think he's starting to realize that now, and for many voters, unfortunately, I think it might be a little bit too late.
Yeah, look, Dean, let me go back to you on that point. You know,
sure.
Here's a guy. See, I'm go further than Laura because I don't think he even meant it. Okay, I know that's very controversial, right? No,
you mean during the campaign?
Yeah. When he said, I think his fundamental misdirection, and I'm being kind here, was when he said, we're going to change the way Washington works. If you think you're going to change the way Washington works, and you appoint your economic team of Tim Geithner, Larry Summers, you reappoint Ben Bernanke, Peter Orszag, every single guy on there is as guilty as possible on the so-called Democratic side of starting the problems in the first place. Well, then you had no intention to change the way Washington works. No intention.
I think that, honestly, I think he sincerely meant he wanted to change the way Washington worked. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. I look at his demeanor. We're both former attorneys. You know, I've had trials. I've seen witnesses. Unless he's the greatest actor in the world, he meant it. He got there. Things were different. There's practicality. I'm not defending everything President Obama's done.
On the first day it was different? Why did he, on the first day he picked his economic team?
The economic team comes in. He looks at guys with experience. Why did he pick Larry Summers, Tim Geithner? I don't know. I wouldn't have picked them perhaps. But at the same time, maybe he's pushed and felt this compulsion. These guys know what happened, what went on, and I'm going to put them in there. But that's not the only thing you judge his presidency by. Let's be frank. I mean, he inherited a horrible economy. Unemployment went up to 10.1% at one point. It's down to 8.3%. He's not the greatest president, but I think he's working hard. He's sincere. And he's far superior to sweater vest Rick Santorum, who might be the Republican nominee, frankly, which will engage all of us. The enthusiasm gap we might have now, Santorum's the nominee. We're all out making phone calls. We're getting people to the polls. Because that man's scary, and I'm not being facetious at all.
No, Dean, I know that, but that's easy. No question. Those guys are 100 times worse. Always happens. Laura, last question, real quick for you. I mean, when you look at this intent issue, and you see the economic team, you see all the decisions he made, do you think he really thought he was going to change the way Washington works?
I really do believe that he did. I think Obama had the best of intentions going in, and he came in and he realized, you know, oh my, this is not going to happen. How am I going to backtrack away from this? And people are calling him out on it now, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know which side is worse, because if he's that naive, like, oh my God, golly gee willikers, I didn't know I was going to Washington. I mean, that's crazy. Of course the Republicans were going to oppose you. You didn't know the Republicans were going to oppose you? I don't know what's worse then, knowing or not knowing. But you guys have been a great panel. Laura Bassett, Dean Obedelis, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Jack.
Really appreciate it. And I like how I gave President Obama from Chicago and Hawaii a Southern accent. So, sorry to the people from the South on that one. All right, when we come back, the Republican war on women, you think it's over? It's not over. They just made it even worse today.
Judging from their comments, the GOP must have a serious problem with women.